Welcome to Reading the Bible with Pastor. Today we're on John chapter 6. After this, Jesus went away to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, which is the Sea of Tiberias. And a large crowd was following him, because they saw the signs that he was doing on the sick. Jesus went up on the mountain, and he sat down with his disciples. Now the Passover, the feast of the Jews, was at hand. Lifting up his eyes then, and seeing that a large crowd was coming toward him, Jesus said to Philip, "Where are we to buy bread, so that these people may eat?" He said this to test him, for he himself knew what he would do. Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread would not be enough for each of them to get a little. We'll pause here just for a moment. If we read from Exodus chapter 16, starting at verse 4, this is what we'll read. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Behold, I am about to rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day, that I may test them whether they will walk in my law or not." Jesus here is about to rain bread from heaven for the people to eat. And here they will be fed, but as the test is, do the disciples really understand where the true food from heaven comes from? And it comes from Jesus. We'll continue reading. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, "There is a boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish, but what are they for so many?" Jesus said, "Have the people sit down." Now there was much grass in the place, so the men sat down, about 5,000 in number. Jesus then took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed them to those who were seated. So also the fish, as much as they wanted. And when they had eaten their fill, he told his disciples, "Gather up the leftover fragments, that nothing may be lost." So they gathered them up, and filled 12 baskets with fragments from the 5 barley loaves left by those who had eaten. When the people saw the sign that he had done, they said, "This indeed the prophet who has come into the world." Jesus lays his people down in a green pasture where the grass is quite tall, and it reminds us and harkens back to Psalm 23 verse 2, where he says, "He'll make us lie down in green pastures." Here he is going to provide for his people, and he shows it in the way he feeds them. With such little food, they get 12 baskets of fragments. It shows that the 5 barley loaves could not have fed all these. Only Christ himself, feeding the people, could have generated this great miracle to feed his people. And it's the same for us today. Christ continues to feed us by his word and sacrament, so that we may be daily renewed and regenerated and have life in him. We'll finish out with this. Perceiving then that they were about to come and take him by force, to make him king, Jesus withdrew again to the mountain by himself. We must remember here that Christ did not come to be a political king, but king of the world, king of our heart, to be the spiritual king that we need, that would be who we would follow his commands, follow him, and be in him as he is our redemption into life. We'll continue next time on chapter 6, verse 16.